If someone had told me a few years ago that I'd be painting Arabic calligraphy on a fabric this massive, honestly, I would have thought they were out of their mind. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am taking on one of my most ambitious pieces yet. But more than that, I'm going to teach you step by step how to paint on fabric, including every single mistake I made, every frustration I hit, and how I solved them so you don't have to waste time doing it the hard way. I'm not sharing this to brag. I'm sharing this because if I could start from absolute zero and build this level of skill and teach worldwide, so can you. My recipe has only three ingredients: consistency, practice, and dedication. Now, if you've been following me for a while, especially on Instagram, you know I have one core rule in my life. I don't strictly stick to rules. Don't get me wrong, you need to study traditional rules first to build a strong foundation, but for me traditional fonts aren't rigid walls. They're just tools. A tool, a language, and a form of communication to just express a concept or bring a client's emotion to life. That's why our slogan at art.bimble is your emotions, our work. But before we lay down a single stroke, let's talk about the materials. Painting on fabric is very different from painting on canvas or a paper or a solid surface. If you pick the wrong paint or don't prepare the surface, the paint will either bleed, crack, or just wash away. You need to know the fabric that works best for the paint absorption. You need to know what are the right paints so that they don't bleed, crack on large fabric. You also have to know about the mediums to be used. Then there is the main part is anchoring. That's not the main part, but that's also one of the main parts that you have to anchor the giant fabric so that it doesn't move. If it moves, you won't be able to do it. When I started this journey, I couldn't even write a single Arabic letter properly. Not one, let alone all the diverse traditional fonts you see today. Fast forward to now, and I'm teaching workshops, sharing tutorials, and answering your DMs every day. Because I view art this way, I never limit myself to just one style. And today, we are taking that freedom to a whole new level on a fabric. So let's just get into the process. I'll be completely honest with you. Doing this for the first time without proper guidelines, it was frustrating. I thought it would not be that hard. But whenever you try something new without a roadmap, you hit roadblocks. I had to pause mid project, do endless research, test solutions, and then try again. And that's exactly why Art Bimble tutorials exist. So you can just watch, grab your tools, and get straight to work without wasting hours troubleshooting. So let's dive in. Quick disclaimer: this video is completely unsponsored. Every single product, tool, and brand I mentioned today is purely based on my own trial, error, and personal experience. Also, a quick word of advice: do not try to paint side by side with this tutorial on your first watch. Watch the video all the way through first so you understand the flow and tension, and then you can play it back and paint along. Alright, chapter 1 is the stretching setup. To paint on fabric properly, it needs to be held tightly. Normally, you'd use standard embroidery hoops or stretcher bars in whatever size fits your piece. You clip the fabric onto the frame using large binder clips. Make sure you place multiple clips in a straight line on the opposite sides. Okay, tension is everything here. If you're a beginner, make it tighter than you think you need to. Even a tiny bit of sag will ruin your brush strokes. Now, while researching, I saw how some traditional village artists use custom open top tables made of wood or I think metal rods without a top surface. So, if you're planning on doing fabric art full time, that's definitely a great setup to look into. Since I didn't have a specialized fabric frame for this urgent project, I did a little bit of Jugaad, as we call it, a quick alternative hack. I took an existing canvas off its stretcher bar, placed the bare frame over two hard cushions as a stand, and left the center completely free. The absolute golden rule here is the section you're painting must never touch any surface underneath. For smaller detailed portions, I even used a simple storage basket sitting next to me. As you can see on the screen, moments like this remind me that we don't always need fancy tools to be creative. Sometimes relying less on artificial intelligence or instant online searches and just trusting your own brain brings out the best resourcefulness. Have you ever used a crazy hack or alternative tools or any jugaad for your art? Let me know in the comments. I love reading your comments and I do my best to reply to as many as I can. That brings us to chapter 2, the fabric tear list. Not all textiles are created equal when paint touches them. Here is how I rank them based on how well they hold pigment over time. Pause the video and take a screenshot. So I keep green light for the best options, that is your natural and semi-natural fibers, and the all stars are for cotton, linen, rayon. Then the yellow light goes for like denim and silk, that's you have to proceed with care here. And the red light is that you should avoid or expect trouble from. That is your synthetics and the stretchy materials. Okay, so the reasons are mentioned and you can check them out. Then there is this step 0, I call it as. Always toss your fabric in the wash first to like strip out the factory starch so your paint locks directly onto the fibers. Then is our chapter 3, the paints, markers, and the techniques. For the main center portion of this artwork, I used Brustro acrylic paints. That's my all time favorite, by the way. But to make it permanent and washable, like the fabric, I mixed Camlin medium 2. But the medium 2 normally is used to lock in the metallic powders, but it works amazingly well here to create a permanent waterproof bond on the fabric once it's fully dry. And it's 100% vegan as the website claims. For the borders and the fine line work, I used waterproof acrylic fabric markers from Flair, and alongside another great set I found on Flipkart, that was UV resistant acrylic markers, fabric markers, whose name I cannot recall right now, and it could be used on multiple surfaces and stuff, and I loved them. I have also done another painting of that was a custom painting of family tree with those markers, but I cannot recall the name and I cannot even check it right now because I've actually wrapped and stored all my supplies right now because I'm getting married and my heart aches thinking about all these completed artworks sitting in storage in the dark while I move. So I'm thinking of starting an art mail club. This way, my pieces can find loving homes with you guys. I only have this month before the wedding to organize everything. So, if you'd be interested in subscribing to receive an art mail from me every single month, Please leave a comment below and please share this video with fellow art lovers so we can get enough interest to launch it this month. I have a pretty tight schedule right now and I just want to get it done. So I think if I'll get even 10 subscribers, I will definitely do it. So comment down below, please. A few final practical tips before we wrap up. First is outlining, second drying, and third ironing. So, if you're nervous about painting directly, sketch lightly with a pencil or chalk first. Tracing your own sketches is fine, but avoid tracing other artists' work, please. Originality is what makes you an artist, not tracing it. Then let each section dry completely while still stretched, either naturally or carefully with the help of a hair dryer. Keep the dryer at a safe distance from the fabric. Also, some artists recommend ironing the, I think most of them recommend the ironing of like the back side to set the paint. If you choose to try it, please do a patch test before on a scrap piece first so you don't burn your artwork. Thank you so much for watching. Support the Art Mail Club initiative and I'll see you in the next video. So here's the final piece. Seeing this come together after all the research, patience and practice makes every frustrating moment worth it. Teaching has always been second nature to me. Ever since I was a kid, I loved sharing knowledge with my friends, siblings, classmates, and juniors, and even seniors. If something was easy for me to grasp, I wanted to make it easy for others too, and I still do it. While my Instagram is primarily for like a portfolio for my finished artwork and custom orders, this YouTube channel is created exclusively for you to learn. I know many of you miss workshop updates or can't join live sessions, so I'm planning a deeper structured learning content here on YouTube soon in the subscription section. But no matter what, this space will always be about giving you the tools to create. If you enjoyed this tutorial or found it helpful, don't forget to like, drop your questions in the comments, and subscribe for more in-depth Arabic calligraphy tutorials and much more in painting in general. Let me know what fabric or medium do you want us to tackle next. Keep practicing, break a few rules, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, fi amanillah.